Hi all, welcome to the Wednesday evening presentation of today. I'll be your host tonight. And today we have Gwladys first, Gambie, and then Metincan, who is practicing outside, I see. So, you're here. Okay, you've practiced. All right. Hi, Saverio. Well, I'm going to give you the stage, Gwladys. Good luck. If you need anything from me, I'm here, front row. I can help out.
Hi everyone, thank you to be here tonight. First I will show my short movie. This is a short movie I did with another friend from Martinique. She's an artist and videoist also. It lasts 10 minutes and then I will do a little reading. So let's go.
Peut-être que si nous avions été des reptiles, nous aurions pu muter. Lorsque la charge est trop lourde à porter, la peau changerait au gré des saisons, au gré de la lune. Lieu de métamorphose, changement de peau. Que les soirs de mauvais temps étaient preuve de son passage sur terre. Dans la forêt, dans la mangrove, ou encore près de la mer ou à l'embouchure d'une rivière. On parlait d'elle sans jamais l'avoir vue. Maman Shadow. Une étrange créature coiffée d'épines, parfois ailée, parfois chevauchant son cheval des têtes aux poils drus. Ceux qui l'avaient vue voler disaient qu'elle avait des ailes immenses comme les paupières de Dieu. Elle était rouge comme le sang, ou rouge comme le diable rouge selon certaines. C'est si long. Son corps était aussi imposant qu'un mastodonte. On l'avait vue debout face à la mer. Elle avait 3 seins, 9, 14 seins.
Personne ne sait au juste.
Bien pointus. Une chose est sûre, elle avait des pieds terrifiants. Il était dit que maman Chanou crachait ses épines les soirs de pleine lune. Ciel rouge, vent violent, vent enlevé, immouvoisé. À son cheval des têtes, il prend la vol. C'est lui qui a fait la pluie et puis beau temps. Au soir, c'est mauvais temps. Yo dit en la pluie rouge pitchant qui est tombé pour un temps. Elle apparaissait souvent à Nord-Plage, dans la grotte dévorante. Sans qu'à dit là, ou qu'à rêver. Avant, c'était un quartier, un lieu de vie, des histoires mêlées et démêlées. Aujourd'hui dévasté. La Sainte Vierge, elle, trône, veille, imperturbable, toujours honorée. Elle n'était que peau lorsqu'ils ont débarqué pour la marquer au fer rouge. Marquée parce qu'elle leur semblait souillée, diabolique, trop sombre, trop noire, colonisée. Elle crie pour toutes celles qui ont péri dans leur peau cajole, leur peau couverte de blessures, couverte d'insultes, salie par les mains de prédateurs. Elle crie emmouée pour elle, des heures entières, la pleine lune pour témoin. Parfois, elle chantait pour apaiser son âme. 3 heures du matin, immouvoisée. Redoutable, indomptable, et pourtant charmeuse et sensuelle. Certains hommes disaient avoir été visités par la créature fantastique. Une odeur de piment sucré accompagnait le rêve des endormis. Elle chevauche leur voile en vie. Elle cherche la douceur et l'amour. Vague sensuelle, paysage somptueux. Un jour, j'ai cru la voir, rayonnant à côté d'un cocotier, dont les feuilles flottaient lentement au rythme du vent. Corps voluptueux, vision céleste, être divin. Samandélé répondait, il élevé. Boum, boum. Rien peut qui fait tomber. Boum, boum. Elle danse pour exister, pour se sentir exister. Elle ondule ses mornes, ceux que l'on admire mais qu'on ose escalader. Mental a trop gros bas. Montant les ouais. Seul le soleil, le vent, la pluie et les plus audacieux ont pu les caresser. Monter sans connaître la destination. Ah, yo père, c'est problème yo. Mental a trop faux bas yo. M'enlever, c'est où les manques à rouler, sans demander les répondait. M'enlever, maman, c'est où les manques à rouler, manques à aller.
I was wondering why bodies like mine are never represented about love, about sensuality, about sexuality. That was when Mama Chanwon was born. Even if they say they love big black women in the Caribbean, maybe in their fantasy, but I ain't see it. The Occidental model is too strong. I was questioning myself about beauty standards, about spirituality, my relationship with men, with women, with water, with the soil, with the moon. What about my pain, my doubts, my vulnerability? What about my woman? What about our condition? I knew I didn't want to just be a potomitan. I didn't want to be the pillar of the family. No, just a woman in her fullness. Maman Chanou has always been existing for my drawings. With her, everything is possible. Drawing can give me this power to let me be myself, to let it go. Also to communicate with my ancestor through my hands. This mythology creature allows me to express the rage who lives deep inside me. I can represent another femininity, full, with all her complexities, strange, fantastical, furious and free, sensual, sexual, powerful and violent at the same time. She is the sensual landscape and the storm. She is the hurricane soul. She is my alter ego, the divine creature I would love to be. Everything is possible with drawing. I can be whatever I want. It gives me the power of metamorphosis, of transformation. Drawing became my escape during the lockdown, my healing, my introspection, alone in my flat, with the bird song in the morning, in the silence of the day and the darkness of the night. I had so much time while nature took back its rights. So I started to do embroidery, to repair something I couldn't explain at this moment. Maybe my loneliness, my mourning, my grief, maybe our oppressed bodies, maybe our incomplete stories, maybe our bliss, This is how we call the deportation trauma transmitted to generation by generation. The pen wasn't enough, so I tried with a needle. I have faced myself, prayed, and tried to be kind, to not fall into madness, and had some poetry in this stopped life. And little by little, the coconut tree in the back became, and little by little, the coconut tree in the background in my drawings became the main character. I have started to focus on this plant. Deported like our bodies during the colonization, the tree of life became the image of exotic places in the Occidental gaze. The fashion icon of tourism. But he is also the witness of a harsh reality under the sun. So I have started doing incarnate portraits of this plant, like a sociologist, botanist, observing my people and the trees around me, doing a highlight on our social issues, and giving a voice to the coconut tree. He became my spokesperson, the storyteller. Pas ni problème, pas ni problème, pas ni problème, mais nous dans pays à problème. No problem, no problem. This is our sentence to hide all the problems. Tragic mirrors, dark reflects of yourself, Caribbean drama, silent cry of anger. White, cold, and stripped space. I wanted to erase this Dodoist image of my chicken island on the paper, and ending with this great camouflage. The storm laid everything bare. Contaminated, beheaded, uprooted, exiled, repaired, controlled, flooded, suffocated, invisible, resilient, survivor, reborn, spiritual, transformed, but also destructive. Pas ni problème, pas ni problème, pas ni problème, mais nous dans pays à problème. I found this skirt in a second-hand store. Madinina, Île aux Fleurs, Island of Flowers. This is how they know this island. Pas ni problème, pas ni problème, pas ni problème, mais nous dans pays à problème. So I have started to question, challenge the pattern. How to change the postal card. How to get away from Doodooism for the pattern. Printing again and again the same pattern on these fabrics. It looked like an obsession. The obsession to be true, change the stories, and show the woods of the colony. This is us. We are plants. It makes sense. We grow like plants. We long to let ourselves be carried by life, by freedom, feeling ourselves, the season and the moon, rooting in the soil. Suzanne Roussi says, open the eyes. A child is born. To which god should him be entrusted? To the tree god, coconut tree or banana tree, beneath whose roots the placenta was buried. She created cannibal poetry. I want to create cannibal drawing. To create, to repair, to rethink, to disrupt, to tell the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwladys. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
Would you like people to ask you questions, or yeah, is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Rachel. Welcome. Great. Is there anyone already ready after this very beautiful presentation?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. Not question, like in the film. Yeah. First of all, beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Especially this text and also when you were, I think that was fiction, the film.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a poetry.
Yes. I forgot to say at the beginning. It's I say short movie, but it's better to say a visual poem. And I show you. I don't know if you remember the book during the 10-minute presentation, and it's like some of the text in the movie. You can see it, and also some drawings I did, and I use it in this movie also.
So I was normally wondering when I was watching the film, you as a main character was performing. So how do you see performance as a acting? Because you also acted in that film. And so my question is, was it more into the performative piece, or it's more like a acting? Because in the film, like normally whenever we shoot something, so we always say like, okay, that's a character. So here yourself, you are the director, you are the actor. So, and also little bit about the sound design, especially the additional music rather than avoiding diegetic sound. So if you just explain a little bit that process, so it would be nice to hear.
Okay. For me, so Maman Chanou is a character I invented. I was inspired by Caribbean tours, especially, and she's like, for me, an alter ego. But in the movie, I don't feel like I acting. For me, it was a performance because I talk about my personal questioning for this character, and for me it was really performing in a way like I have to go really deep in myself to do this this movie. It was really hard to do it. It was a personal effort because it's really personal. Mama Chanou is like a spokesperson for me. I talk about my problems, my pain for this character, but also not my personal pain, but also maybe from some woman also. And it was really hard to expose myself, even in front of friends, because I worked with friends to make this movie and to show my text. It was, yeah, for me, it was really a performance in this way. sometimes I feel like I'm not really a performer because I always show myself and I always writing. Yeah, for me it's always difficult to talk about performance practice for me. Um, but I don't know if I answer.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I was also asking the
And
last question, the sound
the
design.
sound, Claire Laura Flamand made a movie, and she used the conch shell. She used natural sounds like the sea, the water, but also she was inspired by dancehall also, by natural elements, but she wanted to, I don't know how to explain it well, but with the music, she was really inspired by not only dancehall but also some music of Martinique, because I really wanted to make an highlight at the end on the importance of dance for me, like act of freedom, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thanks very much for your presentation and video. Um, when you were talking about performance and making the video, I was just wondering what was the process for you, because when you're taking the shooting, do you like already have a sort of mood board or script what are you going to do, or you just purely with costume go into the place and then immerse yourself and release the character inside you? Or
I made the I did the storyboards, but it was really not, because I'm not a specialist on this. But I with Claire Laura, I I worked on the different steps. At the beginning, I wanted to show like the birth of this creature, and the transformation, and it's like a quest of freedom you can see during all the movie, and at the end, I wanted to show the freedom for the dance, and I was really everything starts with drawing with me, so I watch a lot my drawing to do the costume, because in my drawing, she's never the same. Sometimes she has two heads, sometimes she has three breasts or 14. It depends. She has spines. Sometimes she has stilts, and for me, it was interesting to make it real. And so I did all my costume. I did the shoes also, and the place of the movie we choose. I choose this place because Nord Plage is famous in Martinique, because this is a no, now it's like a ghost neighborhood, because some people lived there, but people wanted to build a huge hotel, and finally they don't do it. But all the people had to change places. But the most interesting in this place also is you have the sea and also the river. And for me, it was interesting because Montmarchadon is really attached by the water, but also the mangrove. Um, and but in the process, it was difficult to, because she was a drawing at the beginning, and to incarnate with the costume, with the shoes especially, it was really hard to do it, to express my feeling also in front of my friends with the shoes, with the costume, is another condition. And also, I did a performance last year with these shoes just one time, and it's another condition. It's really hard to be vulnerable physically and emotionally. Yeah, this is really, it's a hard process, and but finally I just try to fill in the place and let it be. The moment you can see I screamed. Yeah, I think I thought about all my text and my situation. I didn't expect that to scream. Yeah, but some things I didn't expect it. So it's a lot of surprise also during this moment. Yeah, I don't know if it's good for you.
Thanks very much. Actually, my second question is related to how do you see the video and performance in your whole practice? Mm-hmm. What is the relationship between these two mediums? Because, of course, when you're performing, you're bringing out the inner character coming out, you become vulnerable, but it's also live, you're in front of the people, the audience. While when you're making video, there's still also, you know, the music, the post-production, you can still somehow manage it. How do you see, is there a difference, or like what are the relationships?
For the video, it was the first time because I was a laureate of Mon Nouveau Programme, and to help some French West Indian artists, and for me it was the moment to experiment. But I don't think I will do videos anymore because it's really no. But to be in front of the camera is not only, yeah, you are. For me, I was really vulnerable. The relationship with performance and videos. I really wanted to make Maman Chadon come true. It's like the drawing wasn't enough. The drawing also, it feel like for me it was a moment to experiment and to work with Cleolora to know what will happen if we do a movie, this poem. And yeah, I feel like I really wanted to show people a new mythology also, and to let something in the imaginary. I don't know, because we have a lot of tours everywhere, but in the Caribbean, a lot of people don't. They read tours, but they don't believe it. Or some people believe it, but we don't know. And we have a lot of story like that. And I wanted to keep going this for Maman Chadon. And when I saw Cleolora, I came with this ambition to let something in 20, 50 years, I don't know, and let the doubt to the viewer. Maybe Maman Chadon exists. We don't know, because a lot of characters like this in Martinique, it's up to you to believe it, but some people have doubts because it's always stories we never saw, we never see. And I wanted to play with that. Yeah, I don't know. I was.
James, yeah, James first, and then you. Okay.
Hi, Gladys. Thank
Hi.
you so much. Yeah, Gladys, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the screening and also for the visual cue and references, which is I think, and also interesting. The like the last kind of say the last sentences you kind of talked about. That's maybe what I want to kind of ask about. I'm sorry, because I think I'm talking in a very weird way, and I think I'm maybe might just give me a few seconds. I get myself a bit. Okay. Okay, yeah. I basically kind of want to maybe in a way. First, I thank you so much for the kind of surreal kind of way you present this video in this kind of very not colorful, just this kind of a bit of monochrome with this red overlay. It's kind of really interesting and also really like a dreamscape way to kind of go through it. I personally enjoyed that, and thank you for that. And I was talking about the earlier about the kind of like the visual reference and cues, because for me, kind of like in the voiceover, I think I'm not sure, but I think I pick up like maybe Yemoja or Yemoya, and I'm kind of interested in that because in a way I was just thinking of the Mama Shadon character being a shapeshifter in that sense of having at some point to some people appeared with like maybe 14 breasts or 3, or like at some point with this spiky and this kind of shifting character. When I was just wondering in the in this kind of in this character development, if it's a bit kind of you glean a bit into some kind of mythological character from the Martinique in kind of developing this character of Mama Charo. If I expect I'm a very sick guy.
What is the question finally? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the character development of Mama Chadon
yes,
is
okay.
related to like
yeah, okay. Mama Chadon, if I was inspired by Maman de l'eau. It's like we say Yemanja in Martinique, Maman de l'eau, and also of course the landscape, the nature. Well, I don't like this term, but is omnipresent in my work. And also I observed some sea urchin. The sea urchins, that's why she has spines. Spines on her body. And what can I say about... I wanted to create, at the beginning, I wanted to do like a divinity, but I felt maybe it was too strong for me. And finally, I consider Maman Chadon like a divine creature, and I wanted to create something, character who can incarnate the sensuality, eroticism, but at the same time the anger. Not, I'm sorry, but a guest main, because I create this character because I was really hungry for a lot of things, our condition, female condition, and male domination, masculine domination. And in the story, I imagine this creature can come to like I don't know how to say in English, vengeance, to revenge. Yes, to revenge of the predators. And she transformed with the moon, with the weather. And when she is angry, but really angry, we have the spines rain. So I like to play with that, but also because I'm really like, it's really it's a lot. Because it's always personal also, because I'm really close to nature. When I want to be calm, I go to the river, and for me the river is like a search, the sea also. And I think all these things, all these elements plays in the, have a role, important role in the creation of Maman Chadron. Yeah, I don't know if I am clear. And but that's it.
Thank you so much for your beautiful work. I was wondering if after embodying and performing this character, has it now changed how you draw, or perhaps how, or maybe there's something that you've learned from this experience that now changes how you draw moving forward?
I think yes, because also yes, it changed it, but also before the movie, I start to do some costume just for a workshop performance. And I realized I do a lot of back and forth between the costumes, the drawing, and yeah, it changed a lot of things. And maybe after this movie, I feel very more conscious, maybe about my feelings, also about what I want to say, what I want to show for the drawings. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I don't know.
Matteo? You okay? Okay. Any more questions?
But maybe I have too much in my head. Maybe we can, if I forgot some things, we can talk about it also.
Yeah, you moved a bit quickly from the transition from the video to this coconut tree, now possibly obsession in research and drawing. And I wanted to maybe ask to talk more about the bridge and how those two, how they might relate to each other, and how you approach them and who you're speaking to.
It started because when I start to draw with Maman Chadron, but always, especially in my drawing, I always did the characters and just the characters. And little by little, I start to add the coconut tree to suggest the landscape. And for me, the coconut tree was not the perfect tree, but it was, yeah, so one for me to represent in my drawing. Also because I saw during a strike in Martinique, but also in Guadeloupe, some people cut coconut tree to coconut tree and palm tree to express their anger. And also because this is a plant we can see in the print, is always represented to talk about island. And I started to represent it in the wind, in the storms, to talk about how we have a real issue in the island, and also to talk about hunger. And little by little, I think about just do a focus on these plants. It's like a zoom. And I decided to do portrait and just focus on just this plant and do the portrait of these plants. Yeah, for me, it was an evidence because I could take the hibiscus or anything else, but I feel like it was really interesting to use this plant also because we have a relationship with we drink the water, we use it to the artisanal, I don't know how to say it, scraps. Is always in the card, the postal card, and I was still started questioning that, and that's why little by little I really focus on it. And yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, what struck me was that you described Charlene as a spokesperson.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about how the coconut tree is a spokesperson for, or a spokesthing for a whole other voice or entity. It's like they're kind of like opposite representations for you, or yeah.
Why this?
Like in the sense that the tree has become the spokesthing for this ideal of the Caribbean that doesn't exist, and creates this tourist extraction and such, and has this replication.
Yeah, for me it makes sense because this plant is always associated to the exotism, but at the same time is the witness of a lot of problems, and it became a destructive plant. It was introduced during the colonization, but also with natural migration, and now and with the hotel also they put a lot of coconut tree to promote island, and finally now he became the destructor of some endemic plants in the islands. And for me, I wanted to be in the other side of this exotic representation. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Sorry. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Gwladys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we give it to Metincan.
Thank you. Hi everyone, thank you for being here. I will briefly talk about my artistic research and share some like new works that I've been developing during the residency. Yeah, I think the main running thread in my project is insulation, but I approach insulation not only as a technical or architectural concern, but also a lens through to look at and reflect on isolation, protection, and inhabitation. Yeah, so I think I'm interested in insulation, which is like mainly used for regulating indoor heat, which also regulates the relationship between the bodies, between the environments and the others. Yeah, so yeah, I've been thinking a lot about isolation, isolating oneself from the others, isolating oneself from the context, isolating yourself from the public space. So, yeah, some months ago, Simone sent me this like video, which I was really struck by. So it was a video of beehives who like lives this inside of the wall. Yeah, I find it like really interesting to look at the structures and also to think about their potential of like sometimes sheltering, sometimes shielding, sometimes yeah take a home in it. And about this kind of an exhibition setting, now I want to share some new sculptural works and 2 fictional texts. Yeah, so I think these like structures also evoke some resemblance of some constructions maybe, like a cavity wall, which is used to put some insulations or like some understairs or underfloor cavities. But they also, like with the new scales and the details, they are, I want them to also like give some promises of like some inhabiting maybe. Maybe it's not possible with the physical human bodies, but conceptually or like imaginary or for the other beings. Yeah, maybe we can have like 5 minutes, so please feel free to check the works and engage with them. And after that, Alessandro and Rafael will read the 2 texts. Yeah, and thank you very much to Tico, yeah, which we built together. And yeah, it was such an inspiring act of yeah, building practice. Yeah, with his help, we really take so much time on picking like each panels with like each textures and with each like imperfection, imperfect, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The bee inside the wall. 1. I arrived back in town, lying on the couch. One of those days where you know the ending is near, but you stay anyway. What do you do right before the collapse? I started waiting. Something inside of me was taking form, like slow construction during a state of emergency. It was building up invisibly, behind the walls. 2. At night, I started hearing a sound, not a hum, deeper, paced, intermittent, like breathing, like a failing machine, a rhythm. Then I realized a bee had nested inside the wall, between layers of industrial insulation. 3. Last time we were together, it was a warm day, visiting ancient ruins in Olympia. We lay on sun-soaked stones, ruins that hadn't cooled yet. He said, stone keeps its heat after dark. To hold warmth, that might be what insulation promises, to delay the inevitable. But warmth, like desire, seeps out. Even the smallest crack is enough. 4. So I started building. A room with no sound, no light, no air. I turned myself into a bunker. As the outside grew colder, I thickened the interior walls. But the bee remained, somewhere in a cavity, listening. 5. He once told me, energy doesn't vanish, it just changes form. Touch turns to memory, voice to echo, skin to stone. Maybe the bee is that too, a transformed intimacy. 6. The bee had built its nest in the insulation. What shields me shelters it. Same structure, opposite reasons. I was shielding from feeling. It was protecting its life. But the warmth inside the wall, that was shared. 7. Outside, the wind turned dry. Even the tree sparks stiffened. But I stayed in. An energy-efficient life, low output, low cost. But life doesn't thrive on scarcity. The bee, it seems, didn't believe in austerity. It spent all its energy trembling. 8. I don't remember his last touch, but the warmth of it stayed. It didn't cool with me, it morphed into movement, into pulse, like wings in a small cavity. 9. We were never alone, not really. Me, him, the wall, the bee, our rhythms intertwined. Even insulation couldn't prevent resonance. 10. I think the bee is gone now. I haven't heard the sound for days, but I still breathe in its rhythm. Maybe the wall is empty, but the warmth is still there. A residue, a memory, a structure, the sediment of a new kind of togetherness.
What we built while waiting. 1 a.m. The last night in a house set to be demolished tomorrow morning. The only apartment in a building long abandoned by its other residents, its balcony glowing in the dark. He is alone. The 4 o'clock have bloomed on the balcony. By the time the building and the balcony collapse together tomorrow, the flowers will have already closed. The housing crisis will never allow this block, still standing in the heart of the city, to remain untouched by the rich. A single live message arrived on his phone in the middle of the night. From a man he slept with a few days ago. Someone he met in a dull, outdated queer bar and brought home. There is a knock at the door. The man is very drunk. His hands are holding napkins, covered in frantic sketches, architectural details that resemble technical drawings, notes marked and ink-stained. The whole room smelling of beer. Let's leave this place. Look, I've drawn it all. It's all here. A house reaching for the sun. We will insulate everything, including ourselves. It's all going to end. The facade, the whitewashed wall, every single part of it will be gone. Drunken ramblings. He's thinking about the 4 o'clocks, a gift from an ex-lover. The lover had to leave. We will build the house right in the middle, at the heart of the city, right there in the square. Look, we are rising. Above all these buildings, sign, lights, windows, upwards. Here there are no tenants, no landlords, no municipality, no laws. Water will flow through the pipes. The wires will carry electricity, and the walls will wrap around us. Once we step inside, no one will be able to touch us. Yes, leaves won't tremble there. Light won't soften. Gray, but warm. While those in that shitty city gone living, all the heat they produce will rise up to us, warming us. What a rip-off. We will be warmed by their breath, the breath of bosses, workers, apartment buildings, the ones who hit the streets at the crack of dawn, the bodies rubbing against each other in the metro. The whole city, this whole messed up system, will give us the warmth it generates every day. What a rip-off. Your laughter will fill with the rooms as we will build walls with double glazing and thick seals. We can let the cold in. We will get warmer as we get closer to the sun. Don't fear the fall. Icarus was too close to the sun and fell. We are insulated. Fire can touch us. Only we remain in this place. I've designed it all. Look at these sections, the thermal bridge, free barriers, and continuous airtight membranes. All these materials, the soundproofing, the heat barriers, as we had never existed in the city at all. More drunken rumblings. 3 a.m. One believes in building, the other in living, and he just waits. After all, the 4 o'clocks are still in bloom.
Thank you very much.
What's going to be center? Okay. Thank you very much, Metincan. Thank you so much.
Anyone? Yes, Marisa.
Hello.
thank you, Metincan, for everything is very beautiful. I want to ask you about the text. How was the process of the text?
The process of?
The text.
Yeah, I think I have been writing a lot in this year. But now I'm trying to look at the new forms of constructions. And I was like particularly interested in the relationship between waiting and what we build while waiting. So I see also writing as a way of like constructions. But this act of construction is, I think, can be like in many forms. For example, like those moments like when you are waiting for your blood results and all this building up with your bodies and maybe some, rhythmical movements or just your headspace. So yeah, I was like interested in this way of building. So I think writing was the very important part of like how I can build things. So I was also like looking at like paper architects who just draw all these beautiful drawings which will never be realized, but it's a way of speculating and creating new words. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for you and for Tycho. Yeah. Thank you for the presentation and making this beautiful work. Why did you make the choice to use triplex? That's a. Yeah. Is it a deliberate? It doesn't have to be a deliberate choice. I mean, it can be like. No.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that most of the parts of the structures are sourced from second-hand IKEA bed frames. Yeah, maybe it's not something we can immediately get the hint or like understand, but I think it was an interesting the reference.
Is it important for you that we know that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I just forgot.
Can you also explain the phone? Because I'm gonna. We talked quite nicely, and I really like and love the idea of research, your relationship between installation and isolation, and somehow I believe that the character of the bee disrupts some of these thinking that we have in relation to all the transitions that we are undergoing, all of us, when it comes to building. So this can be dealing with heat, or it can be dealing with cooling, or whatever, all in relation maybe to climate change and everything that's happening. But I was just wondering, you are presenting it in relation to the floor and the wall, because you're also an architect and you think through architecture. And then the next question would be like, what materials do you then choose? And does it need to reference those materials that you are talking about? Do we need to be referenced in relation to materials that also relate to insulation? So is triplex that kind of material or not? But you already answered, which is IKEA. So it's a kind of a translation. And the foam, I would have a question to that too, because it's not a typical insulation material. Yeah, okay.
So that materials is actually mainly used for soundproofing, but also, of course, it has some heat insulation value as well. So actually, I've been like thinking about this a lot, the relationship between the real buildings like on that scale and how it is also, how it says about our relationship with the environment and how we see like the outside. So I think, I was really excited when I read about Elizabeth Shaw's book about insulation and our like changing mindset about comfort, which was not like a very old notion. So back then, we used to adjust ourselves to, to feel maybe comfortable. And where does these obsessions like come from to have this very stable and regulated indoor heat, which creates this like maintenance and very artificial enclosed areas, thanks to this also like insulation materials, but also it immediately kind of creates this border about the others and the environment and how we see ourselves in this hierarchy. But I also don't want to be like very like pessimistic about it. So I think it's more like an attempt to like look at the spaces or like imagine them to create this like coexisting or like hosting the others or together.
What's the crab doing here?
Oh yeah.
It's another disruptor.
Yeah. So I think So when we look at these like places like this underfloor cavities or like walls, they are basically designed for humans, which also like I think associate with bordering and like exclusion, but like somehow these like uninvited guests kind of take home in those places, which is also called as like invasions. But I find it like quite poetic and like inspiring how they also create their home in those like structures. Yeah.
Thanks very much for the presentation. I personally really feel touched by the minimal stillness of the work that they have, but how it's like underlaying also sort of poeticness and strong personal emotion, how they combine together. But I'm also interested to know what was your working process, like how all the things come together. How long time did you take, and what was the first thing you were thinking about, and in towards which stage works or the production of works, whether it's mentally or actual physical. Maybe physically I know because it's come yesterday, like still, but how like their sequence and for you what kind of significance they have.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. I feel like, my answer will be a bit like an exception in my methodology, because I feel like this year I had this like privilege to really contemplate on like the things that I'm interested in without being rushed to produce like an outcome. So I think this year I have been mostly inspired by reading and writing, but those writings were not really like meant to be shared with other people, but just for myself to navigate around these feelings and emotions. And I feel like in this process I like tend to go into like very like also research-based approaches as well. But I feel like now I don't feel very maybe comfortable to maybe justify the project through this like discourse. But I might say that I was like really inspired and informed by also those fields. So, and I sketch a lot. It was, I think, between sketching and making and going back to the writing. Even though they don't now, I think, overlap like each other very like rationally. But now I like it the way that it is like loose now. But let's see,
Maybe could you talk about more how you approach sound or noise insulation as opposed to heat, cold insulation? Is there a similar methodology or a similar theoretical approach, or are they quite discrete?
Yeah, and I think I don't have like a very certain answer to that questions, but yeah, I'm trying to think about it. Especially, I feel like my methodology is now like quite intuitive. Yeah, I feel like it's more about like bits and pieces and how I can find parallelisms or like sometimes conflict between other mediums. But with the sound, yeah, I mean, in my previous, I think, works, I feel like there's like vocal sounds, like very mostly like based on the scripts, were really like at the center of this communication. But I think this year I also want to try this more like soundscapes and how I can also use those structures to have some manipulations, controls, or sometimes, changing the sound. I don't know if I feel like I couldn't answer it, but I also don't know, I think, in the stage. But I feel like since those structures kind of changes our perceptions like visually and creates these like subspaces and new like filters, I hope like this year I can also integrate this methodology to the sculptures through the sounds.
Is it something that you want to do to add? Is it something that you're thinking about?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but you don't have to, in fact, because they're different things. And
Yeah.
Okay, you're thinking about it. All right. Yes. Hey.
Thank you. Well, thank you, first of all, for this beautiful exhibition. I'm really curious also about the technical drawings that I'm seeing right now. Like, I don't know which software you are using, but they look like, I don't know, CAD, like AutoCAD or SketchUp. And for me, these softwares, like really cold softwares from the digital world, as you said, like a paper architecture that people is still using right now to build homes and everything. And it's really fascinating that seeing that you are using also the technical background, like your architect identity with these cold softwares, but also like using this warm, beautiful material like wood. So I'm curious about how you are managing this cold world with warm materials and the warmness of like making by hands, your artistic practice. And also maybe a second question, are you sometimes feeling lost between these two different worlds? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, de clip. Oh. Geen clip dan. Die kan gewoon in de zaal blijven nu.
Next.
Thank you very much for your question. I think this is like the feedback or reaction I get a lot, also like from my previous works, like how those structures like seemed quite a bit cold, maybe a bit like off, and then the emotions and like the content is usually become very based on feelings and very like subjective. I think this is the way that I'd like to produce the work, because I believe also the power and the poetry of those structures. Yeah, but when you like have some time and like approach them with this kind of like sensitivity, I think they will like start to also like say something. For example, there is this like photo from an empty shop close to the train station where they put this like tilted plywood so that the homeless people cannot like sleep. Yeah, very typical hostile architecture example. But it looks like a really sculptural gesture, right? So, but what it like dictates is more about like exclusion and very, hostile intentions. So I think I'm like interested in how those structures can like react to certain communities' feelings and the concept. So yeah, I feel like it's my challenge to look at those structures and how they can also create this intimacy that I've been searching for. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, I think it's time for dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Blijft een dansen.
Ja, het is...
Nee, dat is de enige manier toch? Of je moet iedereen zo'n ding geven.
Ja, dan moeten we investeren inderdaad meer of met iets subtielers, want het ziet er ook niet heel mooi uit eerlijk gezegd. We gaan... ja.